Hello all. First of all, I thank you for invitation to this festival and to this panel. I apologize for not being able to come to you. I'm very sorry. Now I learn how to use camera and PowerPoint at the same time. It's probably it's funny, but for me it's a complication thing. I'm trying hard and I'm stressed because this is my first public panel in English, and English is not my English is not an academic. I feel my language limitation will not to let me tell you everything what I want. I have a small presentation for you. To start, I have a working definition. In a few words, Polish war on gender. Polish war on gender is a term of 3 or 2 years when all media in Poland, Catholic, public, private and national media, reported on a priest and a politicians oppressed to gender. At the same time, we had a local and a governmental elections. There is a hypothesis linking between both actions, the war on gender and the election campaigns. And the second slide, you can see covers of books. As Urszula said, that's probably was, I'm a researcher and I'm interested in history and sociology of literature. But my last book, The Dogma of Sex, Polish War on Gender, is not an academic project. Not only. Wait a minute. This is the book. The Dogma of Sex, Polish War on Gender. It's not an academic project, not only academic, it's something like a personal project based on personal needs. Between 2012 and 2014 was published in Poland more than 20 books and hundreds texts on gender ideology. You can see their covers, and each of us, researchers and NGO workers, has been labeled an ideologue, a killer, a Nazist, as someone who wants to destroy a Polish family, or someone who wants sexual abuse children, especially little boys. Written, gender wants to change sex our boys. We laughed at this. We laughed a long time. We thought it was stupid. We were above that. By the time when everyone started writing and talking about gender ideology, then the word gender became the word of the year. Of course, no one was interested in our research. The most important thing was the political capital of the conservative political parties. And their tool was simply, it was a populism. They took the word gender and bring them to life like a monster, similar to Frankenstein. And I wrote this book because I want to start to sort out my emotion and see what was behind the media slogan like a sexualization of children and gender ideology. In Polish context, the word ideology is a political word associated with the second half of the 20th century, when Poland was under the influence of Soviet Russia. In this sense, gender should be like a Soviet or Bolshevik. Gender threatens Poland. The slogan was in all the media and in the priest speeches in a church. And the second slide. Wait a moment, please. Yes, here we are. In my book, I was right about the fact that the anti-gender existed in Poland and anti-genders existed in Poland before the war on gender. And in 2000, Agnieszka Kołakowska, and she's daughter famous philosopher Leszek Kołakowski, and she wrote about gender studies in Warsaw. She accused it on feminist ideology. In 2007 was published Gabriele Kuba's book Gender Revolution and the New Ideology of Sexuality. We ignored the facts for a long time. Maybe it was necessary to change something already in the 90s when the first texts about gender were translated into Polish. Maybe it was necessary to write socio-cultural type or socio-cultural sex. Sorry for this translation. But we did not do that. We wanted to be understood in the West. This is our prize. Many years later, with a foreign word gender, you could do, in Polish, you could do anything. Just bring them to life and make a monster of him. With the word kind or type, in Polish rodzaj, typ społeczno-kulturowy, would not be so easy. How it would sound. Will come type and rape your son, or will come gender and rape your children. In Polish sounds perfect. Przyjdzie gender, the monster, i zgwałci twojego syna, twoje dziecko. It is the best example of populism. And when I was writing this book, I was looking for a place common to me and our oppositions, my oppositions. It seems to me that we were all against neoliberalism, especially the Margaret Peters. This is her books, one and the another, the Polish translators. Margaret Peters, whose books have been translated into Polish, yeah. One moment. Anti-neoliberalism could be our common point. Today I see this in a different way. Unfortunately, we understand social solidarity in a different way. I want solidarity over the family, blood, and over the nation, and they want only family, Catholic, or national solidarity. The next slide, Catholics about gender in Poland. In the end of 2011, Catholic magazine Sunday Visitory, Gość Niedzielny, published number titled Gender wypacza umysł, Gender Destroys mind. Later, on gender ideology was written into magazine Exorcist. You can see it on the slide. Gender philosophy or ideology next to Bolshevik sexual revolution. You see Exile from Paradise, probably gender is a snake or a devil, and the next two is a monthly wychowawca. In a title it comes gender. These papers have a small impact, but this content was repeated by politicians in the public media. For 2 years, we have a regular media crusade for feminist and LGBT movements. And Polish war on gender has or had a homophobic background, in my opinion. Women politicians defended the son of the nation because gender wants to dress them into dresses. The priests in church and televisions defended families before gay men who once adopt their children. And the next slide, also Catholics about gender in Poland. In my book, I also explore Catholic media which did not criticize gender, like a monthly Znak, monthly Wieś, or weekly Tygodnik Powszechny. This is why I write that there was a war and a gender debate. In a slide, we see covers numbers about queer theology entitled Homosexual Man Goes to Heaven, number about same-sex parent, about gender, gender facts and myths, and about feminism, who's afraid feminism and post-feminism. War was in the mainstream, and debate was in a small area, in a margin. Unfortunately, these magazines have been called fascists and Bolshevists. And the reception is not too big. They are a small impact too. The journals are for educated readers, for those who live in a big city and have a financial and cultural capital. Let's now take a look at the science about gender ideology. The next slide. In my opinion, this is not a science. You see books that have published scientific publishing houses, scientific publishing houses. This book was revised by professors. Unfortunately, there are a lot of factual errors and a lot of weak analogy. For example, written, gender is a new fascism because he wants equality. That's all. For many researchers who write in these books, the most important is or was the quantitative argument. They write, if we had so many online publications about gender ideology, then would be exist this ideology, no matter who the author is and what quality this online publications are. Now we call this post-facts, not true. On this slide, I have covers books published after various symposiums. There are also philosophical essays on academic stuff in Polish universities. One of them, Gender Unmasked, the story of one lecture. It is a confession of a priest professor who made a speech, Gender as a Family Affair. This lecture was interrupted by the happening. The boy in the golden dress, you see here, the boy in the golden dress began to dance on the table, and he shouted, "I'm the gender, I'm attacking." Then it turned out that there was a secret police in a classroom. They were hidden in the audience. They were incognito, without uniforms. But police officers had electric guns, teasers, in Polish, paralizatory, and they used them. The organizers asked for it before the lecture. They wanted to a protection. The lecture was stopped and moved to another classroom, and the boy was battered and arrested. Next, he was in a court, and the police has also been accused, because it turned out they had a private weapon, private electric guns. And we were witness in a court, and a priest described this situation in a different way. This is the science about ideology, gender. And in the next slide, export to the eastern border. This is a book I haven't described. It was published after my book, but it seems important to me. And it shows that the anti-gender trend is still alive. This is a collection of fairy tales. On the slide we have awards of the author publisher, his self-publisher. Something like advertising. Unfortunately, you can read this. Unfortunately, the author sends this book only to order, and he doesn't want me to send them. I guess I have to ask someone to order one for me. And the next slide. The end for all the researchers. That's all I want to say about Polish war on gender. And let's look at other research. Here we are some indication are available online. You can see papers Elżbieta Korolczuk, The War on Gender, Bożena Hołły, Anti-Gender Discourse in Germany, and Gender as a Symbolic Glue, the position and role of conservative and far-right parties in the anti-gender mobilization in Europe. And you can see it's not only in Poland we have war or on gender. Similar is or was in Italy, France, Hungary, and German. And cooperative studies are done by Elżbieta Korolczuk and Agnieszka Graf. We have two articles of Magdalena Grzebkowska between gender and gender ideology in Poland. It is online too on the website Heinrich Böll organization. Now that's all I want to say. Thank you for your patience for me and my English. Bye.